this is what the job of being a writer is. This is the kind of thing that can happen to you if you become a writer. And this is the competition we've done. So we can find you and bring you into this world where you're going to make our lives better.
Hello, my name's Ben. This is Caitlin. This is What Do You Want to Talk About? Caitlin,
Hello.
what do you want to talk about?
I mean, I could talk about birds for about half an hour.
Let's do birds.
Let's talk about birds for like just 5 minutes. I just recently realised that birds, being a fan of birds, bird watching, is the perfect hobby if you have ADHD. If you pop a bird feeder in your garden, every 30 seconds something just turns up, and you're constantly getting your little dopamine hits in a way that isn't using social media, and you're not waiting for likes. You just it's like a bird likes you every time it pops in your feed. You're like, oh, I'm liked by a black cat.
I've been chosen.
Yes, liked by a firecrest.
Where I live in North London, there's like parakeets.
Yes.
And my stepdaughter calls them parakeetas. So every time I see a flock of them, I just shout, even if I'm like by myself.
Yes.
Parakeetas! And it's really like sitting on the bed and watching it. So maybe I should do that and I'll get more.
I'm really torn with parakeets because, like, in a way, they're really bad for the native bird population because they steal the nesting places of other creatures such as the nuthatch, which I'm very fond of. But on the other hand, they're so camp and amazing.
Yeah, they're like divas.
We've literally got flocks of parrots in North London. Like, I feel like you're being churlish at that point to go, well, yeah, the balance of nature. It's like, no, an upgrade arrived.
But also, it's like a pigeon, but brat.
Yes.
They're so good.
It's like a pigeon, but drag, surely.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
The
yeah.
jewelled beak, the screaming. A metaphor flew into my life a couple of weeks ago. I had a banging in my daughter's bedroom, and we've got Victorian sash windows, and somehow between the two panes of window glass that slide like this, a bird had got stuck. And it's too narrow a gap to be able to get your hand down. And also, if you try and put your hand down to a bird that's stuck, it'll just literally, as I found out, pass out because its heart is racing so hard, you almost kill it from a heart attack. So I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And in the end, I was like, I'll put a stick down there at an angle, and then I'll just leave it, and it'll have to learn to like climb up the stick and fly away. After 2 hours of agonizingly it kind of getting to the top and then coming back down again, it did. And I realized in that moment that was such a huge and powerful metaphor for parenting, because that's what you do as a parent. Your child is kind of a little bird that is stuck and doesn't know what to do. And if you try and interfere with it too much and help it directly, they freak out, and you have to try and find a way to give them some kind of moral or philosophical stick that eventually they can climb up and fly away out of your life forever. But that was what happened. A metaphor flew into my life.
At the age of 15,
yes,
you entered a competition at The Observer.
Yes, and that changed my life. I mean, the thing that I've really come here to talk about is not birds. That was all just some chat.
That was a lie.
It was a real lie. It was a little taster before a bit of fluffing before we get into the main thing. But basically, I'm obsessed with class, and I'm obsessed with the idea of the future being brilliant. And part of the reason that I fear the future won't be brilliant is we won't have enough people of the working classes just entertaining us and informing us and making our lives better and just giving us something brilliant to talk about, because it's increasingly hard to get a job in the creative industries if you don't come from a wealthy family that can support you. As someone who, despite having now the voice of Victoria Coren Mitchell, which I picked up because I've lived in London since 1992, I come from the council estate in Wolverhampton, and I had no prospect of being able to get a career in the media until I saw a competition in The Observer when I was 15 that just said, do you want to be a journalist? Enter this prize. And you were supposed to send them a report of something that happened in your local town. And when I talked to the judges afterwards, apparently everybody, bless them, sent very pious reports of like a local sportsman who'd come to the town or a new bypass that had opened or something. And I was like, I don't care about news. I'm not going to do a report on something boring. I'm going to do a comedy war report in the style of Kate Adie about how difficult it is to put a child in a bath and wash it. Because I was the eldest of 8 children. So I just wrote the whole thing like it was just this war, just trying to get this child rinsed, and it was screaming and fighting back, and it makes an escape, and we trap it down and we bring it back. And I won. And in that moment, I won my entire future life, because there was no other way to get from a council estate in Wolverhampton to eventually being a columnist on broadsheet newspapers that didn't involve going to Oxford or Cambridge and kind of getting to know someone or one of your parents working in the media. Like kind of, it was impossible to do it. So that's something I'm really passionate about. Every time I open a magazine or a newspaper, I'm really aware that the majority of them are the pieces in there are written by the same kind of person from the same kind of background, and it's just boring. And I want to know what's actually happening out there. I want kids who are sitting in their bedrooms to just tell me what their lives are like. And what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What slang words are you using? What are you eating? What do you hate? What do you love? What are you wearing? What do you think the future is going to be like? And so that's why I'm now being super noble and launching this prize, because I'm just like, if you want something done, do it yourself.
Yeah.
I thought at some point someone would try and like encourage working class talent to come and be writers, but no one did. So in the end, I was
they're never going to do that.
they're never going to do
They're
that.
never going to do it.
And that's such a really thankless task, but I am going to do it. So this is what I've been working on for the last couple of years. We don't really talk about writing that much. Like when I was growing up, to be a writer was definitely one of the big viable careers that you wanted to have if you thought you were in any way like interesting or clever or wanted to show everybody a thing or two, people who bullied you at school. That's the thing I could be. If I can't be a pop star, I'll be a writer. But obviously now, because of online, so many people are on TikTok, because so many people are going down the barrel of a camera, we don't think about writing that much. I know so few young people who want to be writers. But the thing is about being online and doing stuff down the barrel of a camera is it favours a certain type of personality. And it is someone who is more extrovert, and it is someone who can think really quickly. And it's great to have those people. But what about the people who have, you know, the esprit d'escalier, that thing where you only think of the clever thing to say on the staircase as you leave the party? That's a classic writer. Someone who's more introvert and doesn't want to look down the barrel of a camera. Like, kind of like, I want to know what they're thinking too. And the problem with the sort of media climate at the moment is it favours very confident extrovert people, but who can think very quickly and talk very quickly, and people who come from middle class backgrounds. And so you have a kind of monotone to what's being said a lot of the time. And so the reason that we've launched this prize is called the Young Writers Prize with the BSME, is to go, just to tell people out there, this is what the job of being a writer is. This is the kind of thing that can happen to you if you become a writer. And this is the competition we've done. So we can find you and bring you into this world where you're going to make our lives better.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think it's about enriching. I was thinking about this like yesterday on my run.
Yes.
That's what I do now. It ran. It was 3K. Everything. It hurt.
I cold water swim. We can. Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like writing is, there's so much that it does for the world.
Yeah.
But there's so much that it does like for me personally.
That's the thing, you know, if you go into therapy, like almost any therapist or counsellor or psychiatrist will tell you at some point, it'd be a really good idea for you to keep a journal. It's a really good idea for you to write down what happened. You know, if you're talking about a traumatic incident to be fast, write it down. Like, they never say, go online, post a video to TikTok about it. Like, it's a different thought process when you sit down and do it.
Fundamentally
Literally the worst thing you can do. Everyone should just leave. And that's the other thing as well. One of the reasons why I'm really excited to be launching this prize and sort of going, come and be a writer, come and be a young writer, is I really think that I've probably gone too early on it, but at some point very soon, a lot of young people are going to go, I want to read more, I want to write more, I want to slightly come offline, I want to be able, when I'm communicating or when I'm taking information, I want to be somewhere where I'm just on my own and nothing can get at me and no adverts are flashing up and no one's going to suddenly start shouting at me, and just go back to a really beautiful medieval way of communicating. Essentially, I want us to go back to the time of unicorns and castles, scrolls and vellum and quills.
Yeah, that's all I want to. You're so right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to have their medieval phase now? Come on, it's our medieval era. Let's do this.
We should probably keep our rights, though. Less
100%.
Less Cromwell.
Well, the other thing about writing on vellum with the quilt, no AI can scrape it. And the irony of this as well, AI has scraped all my books, all my journalism, without permission, for free, and I went and used ChatGPT and asked it to write a column in the style of Caitlin Moran, just being like, I can have today off, this would be awesome. And I cannot tell you the dog it filed back.
Oh, it's f***ing awful.
The first sentence was, I'm walking down the bus in my high heels, feeling so sunny and fine. I mean, I've written whole chapters about how I can't wear high heels because I've got very weak ankles. Like, the AI within its first sentence is coming at me for my weak ankles and just denying that it knows about it.
Also, who feels sunny and fine on a bus?
I feel sunny and fine on a bus.
It's the worst way to travel.
Honestly, when I wrote my first book, I mean, I'm going to say a series of hateful things. I wrote my first book when I was 13, and I worked on the premise that I'm a very fast reader, so I can read a whole book in a day. So I was like, well, it must be just a day to write a book, right? I sat down 5 hours later with aching hand, having eaten 27 jam sandwiches, on the basis which I still believe that you've got to put something in for something to come out. Like, if you want words to come out, you would have to input jam or cheese in vast quantities in order for the words to come out.
Is that still how you do it?
It's like a digestive system. Well, how else were you going to get? How else could you make words? How else could you make sentences?
I have to do a reward system.
Yeah.
So it's like, and once you get to 500 words, have another glass of wine, Diva.
Can you drink and write?
Yeah. I annoyingly can write competently.
Yeah.
The first piece I ever wrote for the Guardian opinion section was in the DJ booth at the Lexington.
Yeah. Obviously, we now need to get into a war of like the least suitable situations that we've done copying. Okay.
Yep.
Very early on, when I was writing for the Times, when I just got my column for them, Madonna made she did a private gig at Coco, and I've been sent there to review it on the night. And those are always nightmare gigs because it's like you have to have filed by 10:30. That's when the paper goes off stone. And sometimes, obviously, the gigs don't usually end till 11.
Mm-hmm.
So like 5 minutes into a gig, you have to call it and go, okay, I'm going to write a review, because send it. So I was writing about how brilliant Madonna was. She still hadn't come on stage yet, so it's getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. Eventually, she comes on stage at like 10:05. I have to file in 25 minutes. So I review her on literally 6 seconds of her performance, and I'm there with my laptop. And as I start writing my second brilliant paragraph, Chris Evans just steps backwards holding a pint onto my laptop, and the screen just crunches off and hangs from a single wire from the keyboard. And I'm like, it's still working, but I'm like, how am I going to do this? And luckily I'm very flexible, so I had to sit on the floor, put my feet like this, put the screen between my feet and hold it like that, and then type on the keyboard like this. And then Chris Evans had the temerity to turn around and go, what are you doing?
You doing Chris Evans?
It's too long a story for me to tell you. I'm very busy. I'm on a deadline, but it's actually your fault. And you're really lucky I'm hoping my bowler, so I would not be able to do this. Most stories about being a journalist are quite boring, aren't they? Most of it, I just sat at home and ate
This is the thing.
sardines. So
You sit there just sort of thanklessly looking at a page.
yeah, this is something that I've learned after years. So I've been interviewing famous people since I was 13, and I've gone through various phases of like how I respond to famous people. So at the very beginning, obviously, when I first started interviewing them as a teenager, I was like, they will just become my friends. And I thought an interview was simply something where I sat down and basically explained why I was so great that they should become their friends.
So you're just interviewing for friendship.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
That's what this is.
Yes, yeah. But I wouldn't even be asking them questions about themselves. I just about, well, the thing about me is, and obviously you get home and listen to the tape, you'd be like, I literally have nothing from Teenage Fan Club. I have nothing to write here. Then as I matured and I became legally of age, it was like, okay, I'm going to I'm going to interview people. I will only interview people that I fancy, and that's 100% happening. And that never happened.
Not even once.
Well, the one time I got a tug on the line, it was the very beautiful and late Jeff Buckley. He rang me at 1:00 in the morning from the Metropole Hotel and was like, hey, it was great hanging out with you. Do you want to come over? But I just put a face pack on and lit up a joint, and I was in a kind of like toweling robe, and I was like, cannot be to go from north to west. North to west is always difficult.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. So I was like, that will be for next time. And then obviously 6 months later he was dead. So one of the very few pieces of advice I can give to journalists is, if you get the chance to Jeff Buckley, do Jeff Buckley. Because sometimes they die. Sometimes those beautiful young men, they just die.
They do be doing that.
You have to be in there like mayflies. You just have to intersect with them as quickly as you can. You have to do these things.
And that's why you should apply to.
This is why you should be a writer, yes. But no, this is so now with famous people, I just think the best thing you can do if you love them is just ignore them. Just let them have their space. The best thing, if you see Paul McCartney at a party, which I have many times, there's just a queue of people who just wanted to say, thank you so much, just your music means a lot to me. Paul knows by now that his music meant a lot to some people.
Yeah.
But he knows that it was great.
His face was on the IMAX.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He does not need any more praise.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to know that you really like the Beatles. Just leave him alone. That's
I
the
try
greatest
and do
gift.
the aloof thing.
Yeah, no, that's the best way you can thank a hero is just to leave them alone.
We're almost at the end, so I wanted to make sure that we'd fully got the breadth of.
Yeah, because we've been very discursive, haven't we? Yeah, it's been good. It's always been like a kind of blue sky meeting for 20 other conversations that we can now go on and have.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
we should just do a series.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure. So
Yes.
one thing I wanted to ask you, because I thought maybe because this is going to come out around the time that the prize opens up on
Yes.
the 23rd of February.
February, that's right. Yes.
So people watching this, people that between 18 and 25 that want to apply.
Yes. So if you think that you shouldn't enter this prize, you're exactly the kind of person that we need to enter this prize, basically. If you think that you're not a proper writer, if you don't know, if you think, oh, I couldn't write like someone does in the posh magazines or newspapers, that's exactly why you should be entering this. If you just got a raw spark, I don't even care if you can't, I don't want you to be the fully polished thing. It's great if you are, but what I'm looking for, the thing that no one can teach someone, is that you've got that eye on the world where you've walked down the street and gone, I've noticed something and I don't think anybody else has noticed this, or I've seen this and I don't think anybody else has seen this. I want you to enter this prize. There's money. That this is one of the reasons why this is there's no other prize like this. We know that one of the things that stops people becoming full-time writers, if they come from disadvantaged backgrounds, is they can't afford to spend their time, practicing their craft. So we've got huge amounts of sponsorship from amazing sponsors, and I will be mentoring the winners personally and just telling you all my advice, which You've seen how useless that will be, but it'll just be nice to hang. And I can tell you about when I went to a sex club with Lady Gaga in Berlin. It was amazing. Like, it'll be more of a gossip sesh. There are placements on offer as well. So depending on what you're writing about, whether it's sport or gossip or music or your life or the environment or your plans for the future or what film, whatever you have written about, if you are good, there will be a magazine that will be able to fit your interests and can offer you placements and experience. Like, it's just a group of people who were just desperate to find the kids young people that we think are out there, we know are out there, sitting there going, I just want to show you what I can do.